Right now on Good Morning America First Look, two major weather events unfolding. In the south, up to 30 inches of rain, triggering an historic flood. And in the north, wildfires that could burn for months, spreading dangerous smoke thousands of miles east. The sky's orange as far as Boston.
President Trump addresses the nation tonight. What we're learning about his message on election security.
The shocking moment at the beach. The investigation into this low flyover by the Blue Angels, causing chaos on the sand.
Plus the unexpected disruption at this golf course.
What scientists have learned about the rare meteorite from beyond Jupiter that crashed through this house in New Jersey.
The Savannah Bananas kicking off the ESPY Awards. Honoring the best in sports. Who took home Best Athlete and who ended up stealing the show. And later, the kitten now safe and sound after being used as an accomplice in a bank robbery.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Batal. We're following two major weather events affecting a large section of the country.
In the north, wildfires, which officials say could burn until it starts snowing. And in the south, up to 30 inches of rain, a downpour for the history books. Here's ABC's Lena Moise.
This morning, extreme and historic weather conditions putting millions of Americans at risk, with dangerous smoke from Canadian wildfires now blanketing the Midwest and Northeast and central Texas in the midst of a life-threatening flood event. First, in the north, water bombers and helicopters now deploying to fight more than 180 wildfires in Canada.
We're encased in flames now.
Flames surrounding this freight train, the crew managing to escape. Smoke from the fires turning the sky orange from Toronto to Niagara Falls, all the way east to Boston, where the sky looked apocalyptic.
Breathing's a little bit more strained than normal.
I felt a little bit in my lungs, like a little burn.
In the upper Midwest, this bridge in Michigan nearly invisible. Smoke also spreading from fires burning in Minnesota's Superior National Forest. One official warns some fires there could burn for months.
Odds are these fires will be here until it snows. So there will be some fire on the ground in some form or fashion, along with smoke, until it snows.
This map showing the spread of the smoke. Air quality alerts now issued across more than a dozen states. Breathing that smoke is a risk for sensitive groups.
They might experience more cough, tightness in the chest. They might experience more wheezing, difficulty breathing.
Coupled with the high temperatures from the heat wave, officials are warning people to limit time outdoors. In central Texas right now, a far different extreme. Half a year's worth of rain falling in a matter of days, trapping people in homes and cars.
Already, there have been more than 75 people who have been rescued. The expected rainfall during this rainstorm is expected to be more than 30 inches. More rain than what occurred during the flood last year.
This woman rescued from the roof of her vehicle, swamped by floodwater.
Here in Boerne, Texas, the rain came down so quickly it took only minutes for this river to overrun its banks.
This man in Uvalde had to be pulled to safety. Multiple storms only adding to the danger.
This is a tornado.
A tornado touching down in San Antonio, crossing a busy interstate, sparking power lines. Debris flying in the sky. The roof of this apartment building torn off, hitting multiple businesses. Officials warning overnight that the threat was not over, with more rain in the forecast.
It looks like with a vengeance again, so I would urge caution.
Louisiana and Oklahoma have sent rescue crews to Texas. As for the dangerous air quality, New York is handing out free KN95 masks today at libraries across the city. Hannah, Sophie?
Important to have, Lionel. Thanks. Now to the war in Iran, the U.S. hitting Iranian targets in two waves of attacks. U.S. forces also disabled this tanker accused of trying to violate the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. President Trump insists Iran wants to settle the war, but warned the Iranians to, quote, behave, or the U.S. will finish them off. One other headline, President Trump thanking Iran for releasing Dina Karari, a U.S. citizen held by Iran since 2024. Trump calling her release a goodwill gesture.
Nearly half of all Democrats in the House have voted to end U.S. funding for Israel. The measure was rejected because of Republican opposition, but the vote is being described as evidence of a seismic shift in views toward Israel. The measure would have slashed billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid.
President Trump has scheduled a primetime address tonight, and we're learning more about what he may discuss. ABC's Karen Hua has the details. Karen, good morning.
Hannah, good morning. As the war in Iran escalates, the president is set to address the nation tonight, but there are indications he may focus on a different subject altogether: election security. This morning, new details about the primetime address President Trump is set to deliver tonight.
It's really, really big news. It doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country.
Sources tell Reuters the speech is expected to reveal intelligence claiming that China had the ability to interfere in the 2020 presidential election and that Beijing may have gained access to U.S. voter data. The White House overnight not commenting. An intelligence community assessment back in 2021 found no indication any foreign actor altered the 2020 vote. Trump's address tonight comes a day after his nominee for National Intelligence Director, Jay Clayton, faced a confirmation hearing on Capitol Hill and refused to say outright that Joe Biden won the 2020 election.
Just asking a really simple question. Who won the 2020 election?
As I said to you, we went through our processes, and Joe Biden became the president of the United States.
Answer the question. Who won the 2020 election?
I have answered the question.
Answer it. What is your answer?
I've given you my answer.
What is your answer? Isn't it humiliating to be unable to answer this question, to have to indulge the president's delusions?
Also on Capitol Hill, the president's attorney general nominee, Todd Blanche, who previously served as Trump's personal attorney, was grilled by lawmakers from both parties. Blanche insisting he's not Trump's yes man.
Are you and President Trump friends?
I'm his lawyer, was his lawyer, and now I'm the deputy attorney general.
Republican Senator John Cornyn pressing Blanche on the Justice Department's so-called anti-weaponization fund that could be used to pay Trump supporters targeted by prosecutors, including some who stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
I believe you have said that the weaponization fund is a moot issue. Is that your position?
Yes, it is a moot issue, meaning there is no weaponization fund. The weaponization fund is dead.
After the hearing, Cornyn was non-committal on whether he'll support Blanche. A single Republican no vote could sink Blanche's nomination.
You're still undecided at this point.
Correct. It's been my concern all along. You know, he's as the president's private lawyer. He's now taken on a new role. I want to make sure he understands the difference.
Blanche also faced survivors of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in the hearing room as Democrats pressed Blanche to meet with them and to answer for the botched file release that exposed survivors' personal information.
Any mistake that we made should not have been made.
Now, Blanche says he's never refused to meet with Epstein survivors, but he would not personally commit to doing so in the coming weeks. Sophie?
Karen, thank you. Now to Mississippi and the investigation into the mysterious death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. His parents now say they will share his phone data with prosecutors. The phone was tracked to a friend who was with Wells on a boat trip. His family has suggested some messages were deleted. Their lawyer says the DA has promised to present the case to a grand jury. His parents are now planning Nolan's funeral, which is Monday.
We want to celebrate Nolan, and he would not want us to be sitting around crying and eating. And so what we're going to do is kind of have a party to celebrate him.
Meanwhile, the FBI confirms it's looking into threats made against people connected to the investigation.
Search efforts have now been suspended after a boat with 20 passengers capsized in San Francisco Bay. One person died and 3 others are still missing after the boat reportedly took on a large wave.
Scientists say a massive great white shark was recently spotted off North Carolina and appears to be headed north to Cape Cod. The 14-footer is believed to be the largest great white tagged in the Atlantic. Time now for your Thursday weather.
Good morning. Wildfire smoke continuing to pour into the Great Lakes into the northeast. Very poor air quality. It's still hot, a little less humid. That's why you don't see the heat alerts, but still very uncomfortable and very poor visibility. Problem is now is that smoke is actually diffusing some of that sunshine. That's why you're not seeing as high temperatures. The core of the smoke from the Great Lakes into the northeast. Some relief from New York to Boston tomorrow, and continued flooding in the Texas Hill Country and also into Arizona and Utah. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News Senior Meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, who took home Best Athlete? Highlights from the ESPY Awards.
But first, the investigation into this very low flyover as the Blue Angels swept across a Florida beach.
Plus, something no one expected on this golf course. We're back with the bear making off with a golfer's clubs at this course near Vancouver, Canada. The bear carried away the bag, probably looking for snacks in the pockets. Another bear was seen nearby. No word if the golfer ever got his clubs back.
The bear just wanted to join in. Now to Florida and the air show people on one beach will never forget. Overnight, the Blue Angels confirming they will conduct a review after a jet buzzed this crowded beach during an air show in Pensacola, Florida. The blast of air tossing tents and chairs across the sand as beachgoers screamed.
I've been coming for 10 years and I've never seen a pass like that in my life. I literally thought we were going to be taken out by the Blue Angels, but it was amazing.
One jet can be seen flying over the water, but seconds later, a second jet thunders over the crowd, kicking up sand, chairs, and umbrellas in its wake. The Blue Angels saying during an arrival maneuver, an aircraft flew lower than the standard profiles, resulting in a disturbance on the beach. Team leadership is reviewing the circumstances surrounding the maneuver and conducting a thorough safety review. It's not the military's first beach flyover controversy this month. 8 South Carolina National Guard helicopter pilots were suspended after this low pass over a beach on July 4th. Days later, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reversed the punishments, saying, "Carry on, Patriots." Hegseth also lifted the suspensions of these Army pilots who hovered near singer Kid Rock's home in Tennessee earlier this year. The Blue Angels have not said whether that pilot will be disciplined.
A new controversy involving the prediction market Kalshi wants to allow more bets on airline flights. The proposal would allow people to bet on how many flights will be delayed or canceled at any given airport. An airline trade group warns it could give bad actors an incentive to find ways to get flights canceled. The proposal is now in the hands of regulators.
Coming up, testing U.S. soldiers for testosterone.
Also ahead, what scientists have learned about the rare meteorite that crashed into a house in New Jersey. We learned overnight that Jurassic Park actor Sam Neill's cause of death was pneumonia. His passing came just a few months after he announced that he was cancer-free. Neill was 78.
A rare meteorite that slammed into a New Jersey house 2 years ago is now being called a treasure trove for science. The space rock crashed into the homeowner's bedroom. A new report says the meteorite contains organic molecules and evidence of salty water, important building blocks of life. It was part of an asteroid that formed beyond Jupiter 150 million years ago.
We turn now to the latest push for fitness in the military. This time, the Secretary of Defense is tackling testosterone.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is rolling out a new program to screen troops for low testosterone.
Ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best.
The test will be part of annual health screenings for troops 30 and older. Younger troops can volunteer to be tested. Any treatment would be up to the individual soldier.
It's not about artificial enhancement. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capabilities, protecting your longevity, and ensuring you have the biological foundation required to sustain the fight.
Experts say hormones matter beyond just the gym.
It's a biomarker of a man's overall health. And so when we have low testosterone, this can contribute to fatigue, reduced muscle strength, decreased endurance, impaired concentration, low mood.
Guidelines generally recommend against blanket testing, as levels can swing throughout the day. The Pentagon also did not say whether female troops would be offered similar hormone screening. Two Democratic lawmakers, both veterans, are urging Hegseth to extend hormone testing to all service members. For those who do have low levels, experts say there are effective treatments.
We have good data now showing the safety and efficacy of testosterone therapy.
It's the latest in Hegseth's push to reshape soldiers' health and fitness. He's ordered tougher fitness tests and daily physical training, declaring a crackdown on, quote, fat troops.
The Trump administration is looking to expand access to testosterone nationwide, proposing a plan to ease limits on prescribing it.
Coming up, the bank robber with a feline accomplice.
But first, the soccer superstar set to reunite in the World Cup final with the player he met 19 years ago as a baby.
Time to check the pulse. Speaking of Yamal, here he is 19 years ago when he was a baby. And oh yeah, that's Leo Messi. This was for a charity photo shoot in Spain where Messi used to play.
Also Sunday, the first ever World Cup halftime show will feature Justin Bieber, Shakira, Madonna, and BTS.
Tom Cruise will also appear during the closing ceremonies, headlined by Post Malone. Jennifer Hudson will sing the national anthem. Next, the ESPY Awards honoring the best in sports.
The New York Knicks cleaned up. Jalen Brunson won Best Male Athlete and Best Championship Performance, and OG Anunoby took home Best Play of the Year.
Asia Wilson won Best Female Athlete, and figure skater Alyssa Liu took home Best Breakthrough Athlete Award. But host Marcelo Hernandez may have stolen the show, playing an acting coach giving a masterclass in flopping.
Now let me show you how an artiste flops. Take the boo-boo, put it in the ha-ha. Oh! Oh! And scene.
On a more serious note, the late Jason Collins, the first active NBA player to come out as gay, was honored with the Arthur Ashe Award. Next, a reporter who stayed cool under pressure, and a warning: if you don't like bugs, look away.
Yeah, this reporter was live on the air when a flying bug landed on her, but she didn't miss a beat and she ended up finishing the report. Later, she did admit that she is afraid of bugs. Finally, a would-be felon with a feline is under arrest in Maryland.
Police say a man stole this kitten from a pet store, then used her as an accomplice during an attempted bank robbery. They say he even asked the bank manager to hold Magnolia while he wrote a note demanding cash. Magnolia is now safely back at the pet store.
Oh.
Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, flooding disasters have been declared in about 60 counties across central Texas. Parts of Texas Hill Country could see 30 inches of rain, swamping neighborhoods and trapping people in cars. Meanwhile, Canadian wildfire smoke is spreading across the Midwest and Northeast, triggering air quality alerts.
President Trump has lifted the pause on ICE traffic stops. The pause was announced after deadly shootings by immigration officers in Maine and Texas. But Trump says the traffic stops are an important crime-fighting tool.
Vice President J.D. Vance says the White House, quote, screwed up how it communicated about the Jeffrey Epstein files. Vance told the Joe Rogan podcast the files should have been released earlier.
Two men were critically wounded in a shooting at a Kroger supermarket near Houston. Police say the gunfire may have stemmed from a domestic disturbance.
Today's weather: smoke spreads into the Northeast with temperatures in the 90s and 100 in D.C. Storms in the Southwest could create flooding there, in addition to central Texas.
And finally, for the love of gardening,
Danny New has Sarah's story.
Hello, I'm Sarah and I'm here to show you lily plants.
When folks online need gardening advice,
hello, I'm Sarah.
Many have come to expect it to first start with one big hello, spelled uniquely.
So I would say, hello, I'm Sarah. And then somebody in the comments said, hello with a W.
Over the past year, Sarah Allday has been sharing her vegetables, fruits, and flowers with millions of her loyal fans on social media.
I'm here to show you my eggplant.
Many of whom this 24-year-old says have become quite protective of the garden at her family's Texas home. One commenter writing, Sarah, I'd literally do anything to ensure your happiness.
They're very nice and supportive, and I'm so grateful for everyone, and a lot of them are really funny. They're like, we ride for Sarah till dawn.
Sarah, who has autism, has been gardening since she was 8 years old and says she knows many people at first think she's a teenager.
Does that bother you, or you just think it's funny?
I think it's funny. I like it. Then I can go trick-or-treating. Get free candy. So I'm going to harvest this one because it is ready.
But of course, Sarah is much older than many assume, and she's blown people away with her knowledge of growing practically anything.
What would be your 3 biggest tips for gardening.
Number 1 is to know your climate. Know what kind of pests attack your plant. If you have houseplants, most houseplants die from being overwatered.
And while she works on perfecting this garden, she says her main dream is to open her own farm. One thing helping her get there is selling these Hello t-shirts, hundreds of which have now been purchased by her loyal fans.
I'm so grateful. Thank you. I hope they visit my farm.
So guys, Sarah plans to call her farm Shepherd's Farm, and she wants to make it a you-pick farm where people pay, and then you can come pick from her fruits and vegetables to take home.
Oh, love it. That's your GMA First Look. Have a great day.